Amazon CEO, he was asked about how he feels about Chris Smalls organizing, starting unions in this country. And I don't think you're going to like what he said. First of all, I caught him saying some things that are not quite true. So let's go ahead and get into that. Quick shout out here to Case Study QB for this clip, as always. Again, this is Amazon CEO Andy Jassy, and he has a message about people like Chris Smalls that want to organize the workers.
First vote to unionize at an Amazon warehouse. I know you've been spending a lot of time at warehouses. When you look at someone like Chris Smalls, who I think some people look at as this modern day hero who got fired, pulled off this union vote, what's your message to someone like him? Your message to the folks who think maybe we should join a union?
Well, I think that the first thing to be clear about is that employees get to make that choice, whether they want to have a union or not. They always have had that choice, and it continues to be their choice. And
he's lying. Two things I want to point out. Look at his background. What does it say behind him right here? What does that say? Bloomberg, right? Okay. This is Bloomberg Studio 1.0. That's who's controlling this media space that he's in right now. So just keep that in mind when you hear the talking points. Number two, when he mentions that, well, the employees have always had that choice. If they always had that choice, then why was Amazon firing employees that were trying to unionize? Chris Smalls talked about this. He mentioned one of his own coworkers was fired from Amazon for trying to unionize. And it got to the point where he was living in a shelter, a homeless shelter, because he lost his job, because they let him go. But according to Andy Jassy here, he said, well, employees have always had that choice. See how they just lie? Like, there's more. I'll let him go on.
We happen to think they're better off without a union for a number of reasons, including the fact that, it's much harder when you have a union to have a direct relationship with your manager and to get things.
It's much harder to have a direct relationship with your manager when you have a union. Okay. I think that's one of the points of being a part of a union, because obviously there are some things you may not feel comfortable discussing with your manager because they're your supervisor. So if you come to them about, hey, I think I should get this, and they push back and they say, no, what are you going to do? Because they're your supervisor. They have power over you. You have no power over them. So he said that as if that was a gotcha moment, but it's really not, as if it was a positive thing, but it's not. So that was really laughable. Here we go.
It's much harder when you have a union to have a direct relationship with your manager and to get things done quickly. So if you see something on the line that you think could be better for your team or you or your customers, you can't just go to your manager and say, let's change this. There's a whole process.
You can't just go to your manager and say, hey, let's change this. I'm sorry, but a lot of us can't go to our managers and say that now. Are you kidding me? Anytime I went to my manager and I would say, hey, can we do this? How about we switch this up and do that? You know what they would say? Let me talk to the dean. And then the dean would have to talk to the president of the university. And that's why things take so long to get done in higher ed or education, period, because there's a lot of bureaucracy. You have to go through all these different channels just to get one little thing done. So he says this as though it's just easy. You just go to your supervisor and say, I want this changed. Let's get this done. And it just happens. It doesn't just happen. If that was the case, Amazon employees wouldn't have felt the need to unionize in the first place.
Bureaucracy that you have to go through to be able to do that. And we get, when there's a union, we're going to get the feedback filtered by what the union decides is worth bringing up. And we'd much rather hear from every employee whatever is on their mind. And so, I think if you want to continue.
They much rather hear from every employee what's on their mind. except for the ones who want to unionize, though. They didn't want to hear from them. That's why they fired some of them.
You to have the structure that we've had for all this time. You have to have really competitive benefits. And then I think if you look at Amazon's, they're very unusual in this space. We championed the $15 minimum wage several years ago. The starting salary is now over $18 an hour, which is more than double the federal minimum wage. You get full health insurance and 401k and 20 weeks, up to 20 weeks of parental leave. And if you want to get a college education, you haven't had one, we have a career choice program that lets our fulfillment center associates be able to do so. That is a very unusual and compelling set of benefits, and those were all accomplished without a union. So
there he goes, lying again. First of all, let's talk about the pay. Let me go back just a little bit.
You get, when there's a union, we're going to get the feedback filtered by what the union decides is worth bringing up. And we'd much rather hear from every employee whatever is on their mind. And so, I think if you want to continue to have the structure that we've had for all this time, you have to have really competitive benefits. And then I think if you look at Amazon's, they're very unusual in this space. We champion the $15 minimum wage.
We champion the $15 minimum wage. But why did Amazon do that? Amazon did that because there were activists that organized. Bernie Sanders was actually a part of this as well, that organized and pushed Amazon to pay the employees $15 an hour. He leaves that part out, though. The way he's talking about it, it sounds like Amazon just did that right out of the gate. I'm just saying.
Several years ago, the starting salary is now over $18 an hour, which is more than double the federal minimum wage. You get full health insurance and 401k and 20 weeks, up to 20 weeks of parental leave. And
he brags about that. And I will say, when they say, oh, you get full health insurance and parental leave, everyone should get that. You see, this shouldn't be something that is left up to corporations to decide. Everyone should get that regardless in the wealthiest country in the world. Not bragging points, bro. He knocks me out, though, with the up to 20 weeks of paid leave. What is up to?
If you want to get a college education, you haven't had one, we have a career choice program that lets our fulfillment center associates be able to do so. That is a very unusual and compelling set of benefits, and those were all accomplished without a union. So,
all accomplished without a union, but he doesn't mention to you that some of those things were accomplished because there were activists that complained and pushed and organized and demanded it. They demanded that Amazon give them $15 an hour.
I think that we realize that we have to continue to work on the relationship with our employees, and we need to continue to provide the right benefits, and we need to continue to work on safety, and that's our intention.
Let's look at something here. Let's have some fun. I was curious. I wanted to see Amazon employee benefits. Let's check out something here. Amazon employee benefits. By the way, this is on their website. You can check this out yourself. So here's the $18 an hour, which he mentioned. That's true. That's right there. But I want to show you something. There was something that was weird to me. All right, financial success. Our average starting hourly wage is $18 per hour, more than double the federal minimum wage. For full-time, part-time, and seasonal employees and contractors. In addition to fair pay, employees have opportunities to own Amazon stock, participate in 401k plans. By the way, everybody should have 401k. That shouldn't be something that only certain companies can offer you. I think that's bullshit, by the way. That's the reason why a lot of people have no retirement fund. With company match and enroll in paid life and accident insurance. Financial counseling and estate planning services are also available, plus paid short-term and long-term disability if needed. This part right here always, as someone who worked in healthcare, this bothers me, this if needed part, because what can tend to happen when they say paid short-term and long-term disability if needed, they actually decide if it's needed. And I've seen this happen before with employees that really did need to have some type of short-term disability, but the employer, I'm not going to say their name, but the employer that I worked for at that point in time didn't feel that their situation was dire enough to give them short-term disability. So they could either stay out of work and use up their PTO to get paid for that, or not get paid. You got to be careful with the short-term and the long-term disability if needed when it comes to corporations. I'm just telling you from experience. The other part here that I wanted to point out, employee health. Taking care of employees' health and wellness is a priority. That's why we are, that's funny because you didn't do that during the pandemic. That's why we offer medical, dental, and vision coverage to all regular full-time employees. This is the problem. If taking care of your employees' health and wellness is a priority, why are you only offering it to full-time employees? So Mr. CEO there, Mr. Andy, when he said we author health insurance, he didn't tell you that the health insurance is only for regular full-time employees. So that also includes people who are part-time and people who are contractors. You got to make sure you mention them too. They don't get this. There's more. Let's go down here. This part's kind of funny. When employees want to take time away from work, they're afforded ample paid time and paid holidays, in addition to other leave and medical accommodations that are available for mental and physical health concerns. It's just the way they say it. When employees want to take time away from work, they are afforded ample paid time and paid holidays. How many? How many? There's no numbers. How many paid holidays do you get? How much paid time off do you get? They don't give you a number. What's ample? Let's go on. There was another one here I wanted to show you. I hate that ample stuff. Is that the one caring for families? That wasn't the one. Oh, this one. This is funny. Parental leave. Amazon supports employees throughout all stages of their lives. We celebrate the growth of our employees' families through a variety of benefits. We offer, this is the part that bothers me. We offer up to 20 weeks of paid leave to birthing mothers and 6 weeks for parents who adopt. What the heck is up to 20 weeks? What do you mean up to? How do you decide if one employee is going to get 14 weeks and another gets up to the 20? I don't like this up to. I don't like it. No. No up to, no ample. Sabby not like. YepX said wording. I don't like that. Just give us a number. So I think this is important for people to see, though. It's not necessarily as he claimed. He also didn't tell you the full story about the college tuition. Yes, they do offer pay full college tuition, but according to their website, Amazon pays full college tuition for frontline employees. So he didn't mention that in the interview. So if you're not a frontline employee, according to this website, you don't qualify for that. This is why it's important to look up what they say after these interviews, because I'm just like, wait a minute, is that necessarily the case? Because I know I've had friends that have worked for Amazon before and they weren't getting these opportunities that he was talking about. So it's important to What's that, Where Pilgrim? Doesn't that disqualify those in the warehouse? That's what I'm wondering, because it says front line. I don't know. Anyone in the chat worked at Amazon before? Anyone? What's that, Delthea? My kid did time. I love it. My kid did time. My kid did time at Amazon. My kid did time at Amazon warehouse to get Christmas money. He did that once and that was enough. Amazon is full of BS. Yeah. They don't have college reimbursement. I think he meant at Amazon. I worked at Amazon. So even maybe their website isn't honest. I don't know. Yeah, I know. I love it. Right, Miguel? Did time at Amazon. Oh my gosh. Delthea said anything Amazon has done comes out of fear of a coming union. Right. Like, even when he mentioned the $15 minimum wage, he didn't even mention that, like, look, dude, you were pushed to do that.